Hi, a film I watched on Saturday night was Van Ryan's Express, a CinemaScope, big-scale World War II action-adventure starring Frank Sinatra and Trevor Howard. The story of Ryan, a World War II US Air Force colonel who crash lands in Italy and is taken to a POW camp just as the Allies are starting to advance up the coast. He takes command as the ranking officer from the ranking British officer, played by Trevor Howard, and immediately manages to bargain with the unsympathetic and, in fact, cruel commandant in order for better treatment, earning him the nickname Von Ryan. However, the next morning they wake up and they find that the guards have completely deserted and that Italy has surrendered. So the camp and all its inhabitants decide to try and escape to the coast. They are quickly caught and loaded onto trains to be shipped up to Germany, but they take control of the train and decide to use it for a mass break. This is only the first third or so of the film. The larger part of the movie is the prison encampment trying to escape through Italy, disguised as Germans, via train. It's an enjoyable film in some ways, but I did have some particular reservations. I found it to have quite an uncertain tone. There are scenes that are played comically. The attempts by the Italian soldiers to put out a fire are scored with music that sounds like it comes from a Three Stooges short. And yet later there are scenes where our heroes have to shoot civilians with machine guns, which are played completely straight. And it's uncertain as to how the audience is expected to feel from something like that. So we have this awkward clashing of styles that I felt really didn't quite work. Another issue is the ending, which I'll try and avoid spoiling, but I found it to be very abrupt and unsatisfying. The actual story isn't really concluded in any real way. It's left vague and somewhat sloppy, and it felt as though there was another scene cut from the end of the movie. There are scenes of tension that work extremely well in some sections. The chaplain has to pose as a German officer because he's the only one who speaks German. So he has to pretend to be this cruel, commanding colonel. And then as soon as he gets back into the railway carriage among his fellows, he immediately faints away. And the action is lavish and the train scenes are impressive. There's nothing about the production itself that falls short. It's just, it has this odd tone to it. Sinatra is convincing enough as a colonel, although he was, I think, now in his 50s. Um, but and it was apparently the first feature film of his where he doesn't sing. Overall, it's fine for the most part, but it's something that doesn't quite work, I think, as well as it should.